Hello, everyone. Glad to have you back for another edition of the POAP Report. I'm your host, Mister Mojo, and we're going to jump right into it today. So, we're going to start off the show with a huge announcement from POAP founder Patricio Worthalter. And on the July 27th, 2022 POAP community call, we were discussing the integration of POAP on Web3 platform Guild.xyz. And on that platform, you're able to place POAP mint links behind a paywall. I had asked Guild.xyz founder Raz something along the lines of, what was the inspiration for adding in this kind of feature? And he explained how it was per request by Patricio. Then Patricio made his way onto the Discord stage to explain why he asked for this to be implemented. So I have the clip right here. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
I'm gonna say something pretty controversial that some won't like, but it has to be said. I have personally been subsidizing POAP since we started in 2018. I have literally spent millions of dollars. Then POAP got VC funding, and we've been using our investors' capital so POAPs could be free. And somehow some people feel that they are entitled to get the POAP as if it's something a right they have been born with. They can't understand that POAPs cost money. Those of you that are entitled, those of you that believe that POAPs are gonna be free forever, I'm sorry, you guys, you are up for a rude awakening.
All right, I'm going to pause it right there for now. So, as we've all been aware, the ability to mint a POAP has been free. And the process looks a little like this. So, you get your mint link, you click on it, and then it takes you to the screen where it asks you to input your wallet address. You type in the address, then you click on that big button that says Mint POAP Token. So, you know that moment where you're waiting for it to mint and appear in your POAP collection? Well, that actually costs real money, real dollars, and POAP, they've been subsidizing that this entire time. Tricio, he's been using his personal money. He's been using venture capital funds to make sure that this aspect of the process has remained free. And then on top of this, POAP Inc., they have employees that need paychecks as well. And the amount of income POAP, the company, receives is far less than the amount of expenses that they need to pay out for operations. And now, too, I even want you to consider this. So, not only are people able to get these NFTs for completely free, they're able to turn around and sell them to other people on a secondary market for money. And as far as I'm aware, maybe POAP does or doesn't get something from that sale, but I know for sure that the artist for the POAP art isn't getting anything, nor does the issuer of that event get anything. So you have the situation where you have individuals, they are taking something that resources are being poured into, whether they be monetary, time, effort, all the above, etc. They're getting it for completely free, and they're able to get money that they're then able to spend elsewhere. And if they're not able to do that, then we, and we meaning the organizers and issuers of these POAPs, we get abused. Now, these event organizers, they're attempting to give tokens almost always for free, but they have to deal with these bad actors who will do anything and everything they can to get multiple mint links of the event. And we'll get called all kinds of names. We're given empty threats. We're told phrases that are never used in Western culture. Sometimes it does come off as hilarious, but it is very clearly unacceptable and childish behavior. They will complain about any barrier you put in place to acquire the POAP. It really is anything less than just giving them the entire link list is unacceptable. The correct word here, it really is entitlement. But okay, let's move on to the rest of the speech.
It's highly likely that in not too long, all POAPs are paid for, either by the collectors when they mint or by the issuers when they set them up. If you are not paying for a product, someone else is, or you are the product. How is this going to unfold in practice? We don't know. Having high quality tools like Guild for making that possible is going to help us find out how. We aren't too worried about the value proposition of POAP being diminished. More so, we believe that when POAPs are precious collectibles that people have paid for or understand that someone else has paid for, they will only become more precious, more sought after, more valuable, more soul-bound. So we are excited. We want this, as I said, to have more functionality. Where is this functionality going to be implemented? It's a technical challenge. Right now, having Guild doing this payment method, it's an acceptable solution. Maybe someday some fees have to be embedded at the smart contract level. We don't know. Hopefully this answers many of these questions that some of you had, like why do we want this? What's our goal with this? Our goal with this is POAP to be a self-sustainable system that doesn't need external capital for existing. Is this clear?
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end that off right there. But there you go. The big announcement here being sometime in the future, some sort of monetary barrier is going to be put in place in order to mint a POAP. Patricio, he identifies that this will need to be implemented at the protocol level, which is good, and he also states that the POAP company is still in the discovery stages when it comes to implementing things like gas fees and paywalls. So right now, he is allowing third parties to figure out the best practices on how to do these things, and in the future, they'll be able to use them as a basis to make POAP better. Kind of like we were talking about last week with Vitalik Buterin's mindset on stuff. Allow people to really dig in on what needs to be done, set the standard, and then use that standard to make your product better. And the subsidizing of cost, when you really think about it, it's been a way to bring in users as an early adopter bonus. But now it's time to transition into a model that allows for sustainable infrastructure and more opportunity for issuers. He mentions that one of the ideas for doing this was having the costs either be on the minter side or on the issuer side. So the minter side, it would be the user. So the person minting the POAP will be the one who pays for the gas in the transaction and would pay for any kind of fee associated with the POAP. Now, on the flip side, there's the issuer who would pay for it. Therefore, the POAP would still be free to the minter. However, keep this phrase in mind. And Patricio, he says it right in the clip. If you are not paying for the product, someone else is, or you are the product. And for those of you who are listening to this and you're really upset, you got to understand something. A POAP is just an NFT. It's literally an ERC 721 token. Token standard-wise, it's no different from a Bored Ape or a CryptoPunk. All these other projects, not only do they charge a fee to mint, but they also make you pay for the gas. POAP, they've been paying for the gas fee and they've allowed unlimited minting for free. They also have full-time employees who are working to grow POAP as a company, and now they need to switch to a model that's going to allow for long-term sustainability. But now, this is your opportunity to give ideas on how this can be accomplished. And the best place to do that is going to be on the post from the POAP discourse, which I will link in the description. And you could also tweet me at the POAP Report your ideas on how POAP can take care of their monetary costs. But alright guys, we're going to move on to our next story. So last week, we had discussed how POAP, they had partnered with Flowcode. And we had talked about how it was going to be a great opportunity for POAP. And now I have an interesting clip that I want to show you. This is going to be, I guess, what you could call the other end of the partnership and how they're feeling. So this is Flowcode founder and CEO Tim Armstrong. He wanted to explicitly talk about POAP on CNBC. So let's go ahead and take a look at what he had to say.
You got it. You didn't give me a chance to talk about our launch with POAP.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Real quick. Today we're announcing a new partnership with POAP, which is the proof of attendance protocol, which allows you to make attendance the new membership for if you're a big brand and you have customers in your offline channels and you want to attach the blockchain to them and get first party data and all the things that make having a data around your customers really important. We are announcing today a joint partnership with POAP, and that company, POAP, basically badges your fans as they interact with your brand, and you can access it directly through Flowcode. And we've been trying this out for the last 6 months. We just did a big program with Gary Vaynerchuk and VaynerMedia in France at the Advertising Festival at Cannes. And we've had an amazing set of interactions between fans and brands in the offline world that mimic what happens in the online
Tim, in a
world.
very
All right, so I'm going to pause that there for right now. So basically, Tim Armstrong here, he's talking about how for the last 6 months or so, they've been using POAPs basically as an unofficial partner. I'm going to go ahead and get this next clip pulled up here for y'all. So, as I was saying, they've been unofficially using this for the last 6 months or so as an unofficial partner. He even mentions the Gary V event with Paris Hilton, which, as an aside to that, what a pairing, am I right? Gary V and Paris Hilton. Anyway, I had known about that event during the Cannes Lions Creativity Festival, and I knew that they had a yacht party in both the real world and the metaverse, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But it hadn't clicked in my head that Flowcode was a system used to distribute that POAP. Still, it's good to see that it's been useful up to this point. So this clip that I have pulled up here now, we're going a little bit later into the segment. Armstrong, he was asked to describe what POAPs are, and I think he does a pretty good job, so I went ahead and skipped all that. But listen to how he nails his response to a question about why people should even care about this at all.
Does the company, though, have to provide either loyalty programs or some kind of incentive to actually put the phone up and create that connection in terms of why the customer is going to want to do that?
Yeah, it works better if there's an incentive, Andrew, but I will tell you this. People love being at events, and their memories come from events. So in many cases, people just want to have a memory directly taken off of one of our flow codes so that they can keep it with them for the rest of their lives. It's a great way for people to have big remembrances in their lives, and that's really what POAP does and what flow code facilitates.
Okay. Tim, congratulations.
All right. So his response here perfectly shows an understanding of what POAPs are for, in my opinion. Yes, issuers, they can place incentives into a POAP that make users seek them out, or in this case, I guess, scan a flow code. But at the end of the day, they're just a memory. So many issuers give out a POAP simply to commemorate a memory, and people love being able to have a POAP be the thing to encapsulate it. And for myself and many others, POAPs are a reflection of who we are. I don't necessarily need anything else other than that moment associated with it, and it's good to see that POAP's partners, they have the same mindset. But what do you guys think? Go ahead, post your comments down below. How do you feel about Tim Armstrong going on CNBC, wanting to explicitly talk about his partnership with POAP and Flowcode? Glad to see that he has a good understanding of what's going on with that. All right, everyone. So I want to talk about this next story here. Now, the partnership with Flowcode, it's already been paying dividends as the technology was used in a major sporting event this past week. I have a tweet here that showcases that as well. Let me get that pulled up. So here, I believe I go to this one. There we go. All right, so this is the sporting event that it was at. So the event, it was the second WNBA's Commissioner's Cup, and it took place on July the 26th, as it saw the Las Vegas Aces beat the Chicago Sky 93-83 to win the $500,000 prize and the Commissioner's Cup. So for those that don't know, this is a fairly new event. The Commissioner's Cup, it's a midseason tournament of sorts, and certain games throughout the first half of the season, they're designated as cup games, and then the team with the best cup record from the Western and Eastern conferences, respectively, they play in the title match. So this event, it was sponsored by Coinbase, so really no surprise that crypto and Web3 integrations appeared at this venue. And then one of the promotional materials, it advertised the ability to get a POAP, and that's going to be the one here on the right. So let me go ahead. I will fix the screen on that here. There we are. Okay, so let's go ahead and take an opportunity to talk about this. So it talks about being able to get the POAP, and it says on here, by collecting this WNBA POAP, you will also unlock exclusive WNBA access to future rewards and benefits. So here, the photo on the left, if I can pop it up, there we go. All right, so here's a photo of the QR code being put up on the Jumbotron. So from what I understand, they put up this Flowcode before the game, during halftime, and right after the game ended. And it looks like this photo was taken during halftime. And the code that you see in this picture here, I have scanned it, and I can confirm that it only takes you to the POAP website now. And this is really good because I imagine if you could just scan this QR code and get the POAP, it would have been all a waste, right? And so I'm going to go ahead. I want to actually throw up a little bit of highlights here in the background while I talk a little bit about this. So there we go. I got that going. All right. Very beautiful trophy here. But okay. Say what you want about the WNBA, guys. It's really great to see that this is happening. For the longest time now, they've been discussing giving out POAPs for attending sporting events, and this partnership with Flowcode, it's allowed for this to happen, and the word of POAP has been getting out there. Now, I did take a moment to look at some of the numbers, and it appears that almost 9,000 people went to this event, and when I last looked at the POAP for this, it looks like about 90 actually went ahead through the whole process to mint the POAP. And now, of course, sure, I can hear people saying, wow, that's really low, or maybe this wasn't the right event to try this out. But look, guys, I've also been saying this for a long time. POAPs, they're still new, and, you know, they need to get out there, man. There's a knowledge gap that's still very present, and a lot of people at this event, they most likely ended up reserving it to their email. You know, so 1%, from my research anyway, it's been a pretty normal conversion rate. So right now I would say it's going as expected. However, once more of these opportunities arise in different places, they're going to get onboarded, and then the number of events versus ticket sales, it's going to get better. So not really too much to say on this, but I am going to end this segment off with a message from the growth manager at Decentralized, because he was excited to talk about it on the POAP community call from this past week. Let me go ahead and pull that up for y'all.
Yeah, so that was another big sort of drop or activation that was just recently did, and Raz actually had a great tweet about it, so I'd love him to comment. But our enterprise service team worked with the WNBA over the past month to create this exclusive POAP gift for the fans who were attending the Commissioner's Cup. This is a championship that happens kind of in the mid-season of the WNBA season, and they're a great organization to work with, the WNBA. The drop was done well with our enterprise service team as support, and it's just something that more and more people are getting to experience POAPs in these unique locations, whether it's in the middle of a WNBA game on the floor or whether it's in the hills of Denver at the Red Rocks Amphitheater. And it's exciting to see where POAP goes next.
All right, very well said there. Where would you like to see POAP go next? Go ahead, post a comment down below, or you can tweet me at the POAP Report. But alright guys, I have one last news story for today. Let me go ahead and get it pulled up for y'all. So we're going to stay in the realm of sports here. So I believe if I click on this, should be able to see it. Oh, I got to switch back to the other capture. There we are. Alright guys, so I almost said basketball there. See, I still got basketball in the mind. Anyway, sorry about that. Baseball Hall of Famer Derek Jeter, he had held the annual Tribune Players Night Out. This was in Hollywood, California on July the 19th. I'm scrolling through the photos page right now, this event. And, hey, it's pretty cool. They talk about how the likes of like Travis Kelce and Sonny Lee, DK Metcalf, and Renee Montgomery, among others who were appearing at this exclusive event. I'm going to go ahead, I'll link the article to these pictures for anybody that's interested in this, but But I want to say that it's great to see a lot of star power showing up to this event that had featured a POAP for attendance. But at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the event page for this. So, what do we have here? It's pretty obvious that POAP of this event was really not cared about. So they only got 4 people to mint this, and you know, I honestly believe that they're all part of the media team. So the thing is, this event is definitely something that it would work amazing for it. But when it comes to preserving, sorry, I'm getting so tongue-tied here, everybody. As I was trying to say, this is a good event for preserving a memory in the form of a POAP, but guys, it's clear that either these organizers, they're not representing POAP well enough, or this crowd really just doesn't care. You know, these are athletes and celebrities. Maybe they're more likely in a position to be using POAPs as a marketing tool for their brand, as opposed to getting them to improve their brand or allow them to do things. You know, to them, their social status, it already brings a lot to the table, and I can definitely see like this whole, hey, do you know who I am scenario taking place. You know, they're going to be given whatever they need to get in at the door, regardless if they got this POAP or not. Also, they're so busy with their sport or other business obligations that unless they were already into crypto, then this is probably not really going to be on the radar or something that they even care about. Now, I am going to show off this other POAP that the Players Tribune did. And so this is the only one that appears that even got any traction. And this was for the 100 Knuckleheads episode. And it did get some mints, but guys, it's beyond obvious that the only people who cared about this were the Poachers. When you look at the list, you know, you got this guy here. He just minted it over and over again, even to the same address. In fact, you know, if you just look at this list, if you really look at this list, you're going to see the same addresses appear over and over again. And hey, here's a sign too. There's 88 mints and 151 transfers. So this was like a value extraction factory for the people who ended up abusing this. And it's apparent to me that whoever is in charge of POAP distribution at the Players Tribune, they're really not doing a fantastic job. You know, maybe it's the demographic that they're trying to aim these POAPs towards, or a misunderstanding of how to properly use them. But it gets me nervous that an issuer as big and as known as the Players Tribune is having these problems. And you know, I fear that they'll end up dropping it altogether. Hopefully they're able to use better methods and aim it towards the right demographic in the future. And again, it goes to show that we are so early that even big names haven't really figured this stuff out yet. But hey, is there anything that you have to say about this? I would like to know in the comment section down below. But as for now, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we'll be finishing off our in-depth look at the POAP issuer guidelines. So stay right here. Are you somebody that's also enriched in this environment and you want to share what you know? Be sure to tweet me at either Mister Mojo RS, that being my personal Twitter, or at the POAP Report with what you want to share with me. Who knows, your story could even be in the POAP Report. You could even be in the POAP Report. Who knows? Reach out to me again at Mister Mojo RS and at the POAP Report on Twitter. The POAP Report is an independent media channel here to give you insight on the news, projects, and communities in the POAP ecosystem. This venture is still in the crawling stages and could use your help. We love having the ability to listen to the community, so if there's anything you think would be a good fit to talk about on this program, then please send me a direct message at the POAP Report on Twitter. Anything is appreciated. So now we're going to move on into the final section of the POAP issuer guidelines that the creation body released in early July. So we're going to be all the way down at the bottom of the document, where it talks about some great guidelines on how many mint links you should ask for and ways to give them out. So from my experiences of giving out POAP advice it's this aspect of the issuer process that gets the most questions. And it's also a great spot to get some ideas on how you can use POAPs for your events. So, hey, if you ever get stuck on what you can use them for, then maybe this is a great place for you to look. So let's go ahead and get started actually taking a look at this. So to start, it gives some good advice to new issuers, and it says that they're, quote, encouraged to execute several drops in the typical format below before taking more creative approaches, end quote. So basically it's just saying, hey, build up your trust with a creation body using these guidelines, build up an understanding of how POAP works in your community, and then venture out into really creative distribution. So honestly, guys, some of these are common sense, like small IRL gatherings. Heck, you'll probably know exactly how many people are there, so it may be best to ask for literal one-to-one links. So, if you got 7 people that show up, you should probably ask for 7 links. It even has a proof of donation here as under 100, but it's interesting that they even mention that use case. Scrolling down, let's go ahead and scroll down. All right, great. So we have You Met Me POAPs, and I've seen people say asking for anywhere from 50 to 100 of these is pretty good when it comes to sizing. But honestly, it really depends on the scope of your POAP here. I've seen people have one that lasts the whole year, though usually I've seen them as event specific. Perhaps one that lasts a whole year could be on the 100 side, while event specific ones are probably best around 50. I love my LYK card for that, which is this little thing right here. Really nifty. I don't know if you can see it well. Go ahead and flip it over. But it's this metal card with NFC technology in there. It has a little antenna. You just whoop on someone's phone and mince the POAP for them. Really cool. But understandably, hey, this isn't an option for a lot of people, so perhaps a magic POAP QR dispenser on your phone would be great use for that. Maybe even Flowcode now is good for that. I'm not sure. Let's see here. Let's keep on scrolling down. Or actually, I want to hit on this first. So one that is really relevant to me, they're these synchronous IRL or URL meetups, and it suggests under 200 while using some sort of dispenser or secret word. And I got a good amount to say on this one because honestly, when it comes to this is the situation that people ask me for advice on the most. Now, in the past, the general advice on how to size a drop has been what you expect attendance to be, plus 20%, and I'll even get a good example. So the pub community call, for the longest time, it gets around 2,000 concurrent listeners who would qualify for the POAP, but usually only around like 1,600 to 1,900 actually get minted. And when putting in the drop, we ask for a little over that 2,000 mark to give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room. And for however long we've been giving out the community call POAP, this really has been perfectly fine. However, when you're a new issuer and you don't necessarily know, there's 2 starting points I can see having when it comes to this. So 1, you've already been holding your event and you know how many people show up, and I would expect to use that expected attendance plus 20% rule for that. Or 2, you're going to your first event and you have no idea how many will show up. So really, you just got to use your best educated guess. And most likely that's going to be under the 200 that it recommends in this guideline. But hey, don't feel bad if you run out of links. It happens. If you run out of links, you can say something like, oh, it was just first come, first serve for the first 200 or something like that. And the next time around, you can have more for your event. Now, how you give this out, it's really going to depend on your platform. Currently, things like for Discord, something like Guild.xyz or DGenBot works pretty great on there. Twitter, I know that DGenBot just started working fairly well on Twitter, and you even have secret words for that. YouTube and Twitch has been getting a lot of infrastructure built on it lately, but in the past, I've seen people use secret words. They've used magic QR dispensers for that. I've seen having to donate to a certain address, like with an e-staker POAP. Maybe you could use Flowcode there. This platform called Rev.GG, they're also on the rise for YouTube and Twitch. I'm going to post a link in the description to the POAP directory resource page, and that should be a good solution for your distribution needs. So let's take a look at these guidelines again. Let's see here. Let's keep on scrolling down. Looks like it moves into like business and corporate stuff. Maybe not great for issuers, but this is a pretty good idea on, hey, if you go to one of these things, you're going to know how many of the min links are going to exist. So think 500 to 1,000 when it comes to things like beta programs, product launches, going to a conference booth, things like that. And included here, if I scroll all the way down, it talks about proof of voting, so things like a snapshot. I can see how you'll probably have a list for something like that, but I could see how keeping it to the first 1,000, it might be good for speed of response or something similar to that. But hey, there's really not too much to talk about. This is really straightforward, guys. Now, this is a really good resource to use if you have no idea what you need to do. You can use this as a basis for where you need to start. But with that, guys, we've officially made it to the bottom of this document. And I hope that this segment and the other ones that are involving the guidelines, I hope they've been helpful. Whether it's explaining what's being said, giving examples of what's being talked about, or even just helping you know that this document exists. Now, this is a great document to keep in your bookmarks if you're a POAP issuer. But okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and move on. So I have a whole bunch of POAPs that I want to show off. So back during EthCC, a lot of POAPs were giving out. I'm going to continue our coverage of that. And so let me go ahead. I'm going to pull up the first one here for y'all. Make sure I got it right. Perfect. There we go. Okay. So let's take a look at the first one here. This is the screen that I want. All right. So first on the list, we have the EthCC Hack 2022 POAP. And this, it was a hackathon that ran from July the 22nd to the 29th. And this hackathon in particular, it was focusing on Ethereum scalability, infrastructure, DeFi, and the creator economy. I'm going to go ahead and pull over to the information on here. So it says that that they're going to announce the winners. I guess they're not even updating this page anymore, unfortunately, because the time has passed, but they didn't even post the winners yet. But yeah, pretty cool. A lot of sponsors for this. There was 816 participants, and there was $182,000 in the prize pool. It was great to see that there was a POAP commemorating this occasion. Again, they haven't announced the winners. I was expecting to do that for this episode, but it hasn't come out yet. They haven't released them yet, so I just want to say congratulations to the winner for taking first place, whoever it was. Great job. And so next, I have some brands and teams which dropped a POAP for coming to see them during the conference. So first up, let me get that one pulled up. I have Ledger. Great. So I have Ledger. They gave it a POAP for attending their booth. Next up, I have 1inch Network. They also joined in on this, and they gave out a nice looking POAP for engaging with the team. We also have Web3 Marketplace iExec that gave out a POAP to engagers at the conference. And then rounding out what are raffle eligible POAPs, it's POAPs POAP. And yes, I said POAP a lot right there. And really, it kind of reminds me of the phrase Buffalo, 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 Buffalo. But the raffle in question, this is raffle 1666. And honestly, the prizes for this raffle, they were pretty cool. So there was a POAP engraved Apple iPad that they called the POAP Pen. You could also win a custom personal POAP whose art is created by the POAP design team. They gave out these IYK cards. They gave out the Ledger Nano S, and they gave out metal POAP pins. So it's cool to see some really awesome POAP.fun raffles coming in, being really handy, giving great utilization to these POAPs that people are getting at these conferences. And looks like, congrats to Nyar.eth for winning the grand prize. Awesome. He was able to get every single one of those prizes. But all right, another POAP that I want to feature, it comes from a project I never heard of until now. So this is a protocol called COW, or Coincidence of Wants. So very basic explanation of this. So this looks similar to other swapping sites, but instead of interacting with liquidity pools, you sign what they call an intent to swap. And then what they do is they give it to what they call a solver, and they will bid on the best possible exchange rate to win the right to settle the trade. And they batch multiple trades together to form a cow, and this allows for saving on gas costs and fees, and it protects against MEV or MEV, however you want to call it, and it's pretty cool. Maybe I'll end up checking out in the future if I have a really big swap that I need to make or anything like that. Definitely a good tool to have in the tool belt. All right, next up, it looks like we have a quick look at the Aave POAP. Good to see them giving one out for their booth. I think the next one I have on the list is, yes, it is an after party. So there was an after party that was held by Anoma, Ledger, and Polygon. So here you got some big players in the Web3 space. They're giving out POAPs for their parties. Definitely a flex if you got this in your gallery. I think one of the coolest ones I got when it comes to some sort of going to a party during ETH Denver, I went to a party that featured the POAP team and a few other Web3 people. Super fun. Had a blast. Fun to end this off, we have all kinds of You Met Me POAPs, and for these I mostly randomly clicked on a bunch of random ones from a text list. So not too sure who all I'm about to show up, but I do know a few. So the one that I've been showing so far, this is from Colfax from Get POAP. He's a pretty great guy. Absolutely love him. He gave out another You Met Me POAP during EthCC. Let's see here. I have some other ones up here as well. If I'm able to click on them, looks like I have Reed. Pretty cool guy to hang out with. I had met him at the POAP booth in Amsterdam. Let's see here. What else do I got? Looks like I have Ruben. Hey, I actually really like the animation on these, like, You Met Me POAPs from the POAP team, because you just see, like, POAP officer, Ruben, POAP officer. Really great. I think it said that for Reeds as well. In fact, I think it says it for all of them. So here I got Emilio as well that I clicked on the list. I'm just noticing that his avatar, it has, like, the POAP purple as, like, his hair color. Is your hair really like that for real right now? Because if so, can I get a confirmation on that? Anyways, here, what else do I have? Yes. So here's one I chose because I know who this is. So Phil ETH, swell guy. I got to spend some time with him in Amsterdam. I had a lovely dinner with him during Dev Connect after the staking gathering had ended for the day. So you see, we had left a crypto staking gathering, and then we went to go eat a delicious steak dinner that, from what I remember, he couldn't even eat because he's at the very least a vegetarian. So maybe not the best choice of restaurant. Sorry about that, Phil. Hopefully you got over it. Anyway, I have 3 more. I have no idea who these people are. They were just on the list, and I decided to click on them. So I have You've Met Pablito. I have You Met Daniel Villa Monterrero. I can barely read it from this far away. Sorry if I said your name incorrectly. And then I have You Met Benjamin. So thank you so much to Pablito, Daniel, and Benjamin for being part of the POAP community. But guys, were you able to go to EthCC this year? Tell me about your time in the comment section below. Also, tell me what kind of POAPs that you were able to get during EthCC. I would love to hear that on Twitter at the POAP Report. One of the big events that happened before the POAP Report began was the Eporio smart contract bug that caused some users to lose their POAPs. And this exploit happened because of certain allowances being granted to the NFTs. And there's actually a really good counter available to this, and I'm going to show it off today. So let me pull up this tweet for y'all. So there is this website that is called Revoke.Cash that allows users to revoke any allowances that they may have given. And recently they had released a browser extension. And what this does is give you a pop-up alert that you're about to sign an allowance, and it'll also tell you the allowance details. So definitely worth a look. You don't want to end up losing your assets because you got allowance scammed or phished and stuff like this. It's a great security for something like that. And really quick, I actually want to show you how to see the allowances for your POAP collection. So again, this site is Revoke.Cash. I'll put a link to it in the description, but when you go here, you want to go ahead and connect your wallet. I have already done this. Then you're going to want to switch to the Gnosis chain, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll put a link to this in the description as well so you can quickly connect, but it's going to look like something like this. The screen share isn't going to be the best looking, but essentially it looks something like this. You're going to connect your wallet, and then this button right here, it'll change to add to MetaMask. And then once you do that, you'll just switch over to Gnosis chain, and then you'll click on this little slider right here to go over to NFTs. Now for this wallet, for my wallet, you can see that I have 171 POAPs, and there's no allowances on them. I'm sure if I used a secondary market to trade POAPs, then whatever POAPs are put through that market smart contract would appear as having an allowance, if I'm not mistaken. But I haven't connected my POAPs to anything, and really that's how I plan to keep it. So if you do have something here, it will give the type of allowance as well as the address that was given the allowance. And there will be a black button that says Revoke, and you'll be able to sign a transaction that will remove that allowance if you click on it and go through the process. You know, I just really want everybody to be safe, and this is a pretty cool tool that I believe will help you out. So stay safe out there, guys. New browser extension for Revoke.Cash. Go ahead and take a look at what they have to offer. Maybe you'll be surprised at what you're allowing people to do with your assets. Maybe you'll find that, hey, you shouldn't have a connection to somewhere. You'll never know unless you go ahead and take a look. Okay, everyone, we are coming to the end of our time this week. Glad that you were able to watch the whole way through. And I just want to end off with some general feelings about how the show is going so far. So honestly, I've been here doing this for a month, and it's been going pretty good. There's a lot of stuff that I've been overcoming, a lot of challenges that have come my way, but I feel like slowly but surely I've been getting there. I know that there's some things that aren't necessarily great right now, like, hey, my camera quality isn't the best. That's definitely something I'm going to want to upgrade. Another thing I want to upgrade is, honestly, probably just the kind of content that's on here. No, I spend a good amount of time trying to figure out what I want to talk about. I write a script for it and things like that, but sometimes I feel like, oh man, like I should have implemented this, but I couldn't because I needed a guest or something like that. And I think that one of the things that I need to do is really reach out more. I need to make sure that I'm putting myself out there, that I'm like, hey, I got this thing that wants to talk about your project. Would you come on and talk about it? I just need to, like I said, get myself out there and let that happen. I know that people are really interested in hearing from these creators, and I need to step up and make sure that that's possible. But guys, if there's anything that you're able to provide me feedback-wise on what I can do, how I can improve, anything that needs to be looked into, let me know down in the comment section below. Tweet me at the POAP Report your suggestions. I would love to hear them. I'm all about getting better. I'm all about growing. I'm all about being able to make this the best content that it can be, and being able to be the POAP Report, the place where you can come in, learn about the news, projects, and communities in the POAP ecosystem. Because a lot of these YouTube channels, when they talk about POAPs, you know, they're just people saying, hey man, this is how you get this POAP, or oh, if you go and do this, you're going to get the POAP, or oh, this valuable POAP alert, things like that. This isn't really what that's meant to be. This is, again, it's meant to be actual conversation about these projects, about these communities, and about what's actually happening in POAPs. So hopefully that excites you. I mean, obviously, I guess it has, because you're here watching me talk about this right now. But guys, thank you so much for coming to the show this week. I will see you next time. Stay safe. Bye-bye.